Well, it's week 3. This coin has the Steelers at 4-0. And there's even teams that we are surprised that are 0-3, like the Commanders. Can these teams finally break their streaks and look more like the teams we anticipate them to be in 2025? Well, let's go ahead and dive on into Flip a Fate for week 4 predictions. Alright, for those of you guys who are new around here, me, Jason, this coin, heads, tails, and we go ahead and flip the coin, whichever one it lands on. If it's heads, home team wins, tails, away team wins. Let's go ahead and start flipping for week 4. Now, if you guys are just getting into this series a little bit late, but it's more than fine, we welcome anyone here. There will be an iCard over here that will link you to the entire playlist for this series, so you can go ahead and watch it from the beginning. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into our first week 4 game of the season, the Seattle Seahawks going to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Let's see a big one here in the West, and that coin is landing on heads for the Arizona Cardinals. All right, now we got a big one here. The Minnesota Vikings going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Steelers are 3-0. Can they keep that streak alive? And it looks like this is where it breaks with a Vikings win. Well, while we're breaking streaks, the Washington Commanders are going to Atlanta, and the Commanders are 0-3, so a tails would break that streak too. But it looks like that streak is meant to continue as we get a heads for the Falcons. All right, now we got the New Orleans Saints going to Buffalo to take on the Bills, who are dominating, absolutely dominating the AFC East. But not this week. The Saints are absolutely dominant in the South. All right, now we got the Cleveland Browns going to Detroit to take on the Bills. The Browns did hit a tough loss last week. Can that quarterback room rebound? And it looks like they do with that tails for a win. All right, now we got one I'm interested in. The Tennessee Titans with Cam Ward going to Houston to take on the 0-3 Texans. Can the Texans get their first win of the season? And it looks like they're going to have to wait too as Cam Ward and the Titans get a big win here. All right, now we got the Carolina Panthers going to New England to take on the Patriots. The Patriots are hungry for their first win. Can they get it here against Carolina? It does not look like it. The Panthers are being dominant this season to a degree. All right, and up next, we got the Los Angeles Chargers going to New York to take on the Giants. And if you're a betting man, I would bet on the Giants, given the way this coin flips have gone. It's a 50-50 chance, but it looks like we got our 5th tails in a row, and the Chargers win this one. All right, the road teams have been on a bit of a heater here. Can the Eagles keep that up as they're going to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers? And it looks like the streak ends now with a heads going in favor of the Bucs. All right, now we got the Indianapolis Colts going to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. This one's a huge one for the Rams as they are now in danger, but they can't live up to the requirements as they lose to the Colts. All right, now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going to San Francisco to take on the Niners. Big one here for both teams as the Jags are still atop the AFC South. And it looks like the Jags will continue that streak with the tails. All right, when you think Baltimore versus Kansas City in week 4, you're not thinking of 2 1-2 teams going at it, but that is exactly what we got here as both of these teams are 1-2 entering this week. Who's going to get the win? The Chiefs are the home team, but the Ravens look like they're going to win it on the road with that tails. This is absolutely insane. With 4 games to go, 3 home teams have won. The rest of the winners have been on the road. So that bodes well for the Bears to get their first win under new head coach Ben Johnson as they go to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. And they do it! Ben Johnson's first win, according to the coin, comes against the Raiders. All right, now we got the Green Bay Packers going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. And let's see a big early season matchup that could have immense seeding implications later on. And it looks like Dallas is going to get the win here with that heads. All right, now we're going down to sunny Miami where the Jets are going to go to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Big one here for the Jets as they do sit winless through 3 weeks. But winless no more. They get a big win here against the Dolphins. All right, and last but not least, we got the Cincinnati Bengals going to Denver to take on the Broncos. Let's see, can we get a big flip? Who's it going to be? And it looks like the Broncos will win at home. Alright, so over here is a brief recap of all week 4 games. As usual, the teams highlighted in green did get the win this week. So we'll go ahead and, take a minute to look at this. And let's go ahead and flip on over to the standings that this then creates. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of these things. So the AFC East, kind of what I would anticipate. I don't anticipate the Patriots going 0-4, but still, it's about the order I would anticipate. The Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, they're going to be fighting it out together. I think maybe the Patriots end up in second. I just think the Patriots did really well this offseason. The AFC North, yeah, this ain't happening. This is not going to be your Week 4 standings, I don't think, unless the coin knows something we don't. I don't think the Steelers are going to start 3-1 unless Rodgers signs, and there's not even a guarantee of that yet. Looking at the South, the Jaguars, that's pretty standard, except the Texans. I think the Texans will be well above the Colts. I think the Colts are the weakest link in that division, to be honest. The West, yeah. The West. We don't even talk about this. The Chiefs are 1-3 and last in that division. Not what we would anticipate. Moving on to the NFC East, we got the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and the Commies. The Commies at 0-4. Otherwise, this does look kind of what I would anticipate. The NFC North, kind of the same deal except for the Lions. I would expect the Lions to be a bit more competitive than 1-3. The Saints, huge surprise here in the NFC South at 4-0. And it looks like the South is going to be our best division to watch, as through 4 weeks, they have a combined 4 losses, which is insane for this division, considering what they have. And then last but not least, we got the NFC West, easily looking to be one of the worst divisions in the league right now, with a combined 5 wins across 4 weeks of play. So, you get what you get. But I do think this is going to wrap it up for me today. If you guys did like, well, right below me there's going to be a little subscribe button, so make sure you subscribe. And over there in the other corner will be the playlist for the entire Flip of Fate series for 2025. So if you missed any episodes, go ahead and check it out. And I guess with that, I will catch you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.